Hey everyone, it's the Mike and Rob Show producer Clayton here to discuss my Star Trek conspiracy theory about the Soong family. But first, be sure to click the subscribe button. I don't know why I told you to do that, it's not like we've released any videos in years, but hey, everyone else says to subscribe to their videos and we're nothing if not trend whores. Anyhow, back to the real video. My conspiracy theory is that the Soong family consists of clones of Arik Soong, and the following is my reasoning. In Star Trek chronology, the first Soong we are introduced to is Arik Soong in Star Trek Enterprise, during the three-story episode arc consisting of Borderland, Cold Station 12, and The Augments. In this arc, Soong, played by Brent Spiner, attempts to create genetically superior humans called the Augments, using techniques and frozen embryos from the time of the eugenics wars on Earth, which were the same wars that gave rise to Khan Noonien Singh. No, not that one, the real one. There you go. As is the case typical with augmented humans, things go from bad to worse and the Enterprise has to be brought in to put a stop to Soong and his children. Ultimately, Enterprise wins the day. The Klingons are infected with an augmented human DNA virus which causes a large portion of their population to lose their forehead ridges, a brilliant bit of retconning for TOS, and Soong is placed into custody. At the very end of the story arc, Soong decides to change gears, believing that perfecting humans may be an unachievable goal and that perhaps artificial life is the way to go. He muses that it would take a generation or two to get it right. Fast forward a generation or two later, and we have Lieutenant Commander Data, played by Brent Spiner, the first android in Starfleet and the creation of brilliant cyberneticist Noonien Soong. Originally believed to have been killed during the attack by the crystalline entity on Omicron Theta, Soong is proved to be very much alive and very old when he activates a homing beacon in Data in the TNG episode Brothers. Soong, again played by Brent Spiner, bears an uncanny resemblance to Arik Soong, and during his few appearances as his younger self in Data's dreams, remarks that he loved Data's, and by extension his, face, which explains why Data, Lore, and B4 all share it. After Soong dies, it is believed that the secret behind his success in creating artificial life is lost forever, which would continue to be believed for almost 30 years after his death until, in a surprising turn of events 20 years after the death of Data, Admiral Picard encounters Alton Inigo Soong, a self-proclaimed son of Noonien Soong and a research partner of cyberneticist Bruce Maddox. Once again, Soong is played by Brent Spiner, and once again bears an uncanny resemblance to his ancestors and to Data. So much so that Picard remarks that he feels like he's looking at Data, which Soong concludes with, "If Data had gotten old and soft." Arik says of his father Noonien that he had me but created Data, a fact he never let me forget. So why clones? For someone as brilliant as Arik Soong, he knew that he wouldn't be able to achieve his goals within his lifetime, and he'd need someone as brilliant as himself to continue his work after he was gone. He also had a lot of experience dealing with genetic manipulation and growing humans artificially. In my mind, it would make perfect sense for him to clone himself, raise his clone with his brilliance and sense of purpose, and leave his clone behind to continue his work after his death. The clone would likely do the same thing when they got older. Alton being a son of Noonien is a surprise to established Star Trek canon, but if you consider that he may be a clone of Noonien, it makes sense. The whole cloning yourself to continue your work thing would probably be illegal in the Federation and very much a secret, which is probably why Data never mentioned him. The embryonic development process that Arik Soong used in Enterprise didn't seem to need a female to carry a baby to term, so it's unlikely that Juliana Tainer was involved or would even be aware if Noonien had created the clone after they separated. This lack of knowledge of Alton's existence also makes sense given that the whole raison d'etre of the Soong line has been to give rise to artificial life. That goal is so paramount that flesh and blood clones would be considered inferior to their ultimate purpose and would probably be reminded of it frequently, as Noonien did to Alton. And while it's easy to say that all the Soongs and the original Soong androids look the same because they're all played by Brent Spiner, within the Star Trek universe it also makes equal sense that they all look the same because they're clones. And when you think so highly of yourself that you clone and raise yourself, you probably end up a little narcissistic and fall in love with that face. There's another aspect to the Soong line that is raised by everything we've learned thus far. the Soongs may be sociopaths. Arik Soong had very little regard for normal humans, and Lore seems to share a lot of that sense with his disregard for flesh and blood beings. We never learned much about Noonien other than he had a huge ego, and it's possible that Lore was more like him than Data was. When it comes to Alton, I hope we're going to learn more about him in upcoming episodes of Star Trek Picard, but based on the behavior of some of his creations, like Sutra, it's possible that Lore's sociopathy was a feature, not a bug. So that's my Star Trek conspiracy theory. I hope you liked it, and I'd love to hear what you think in the comments below. And for some reason, remember to subscribe to the Mike and Rob Show. We hope to be producing more videos in the near future, but don't count on it.